everyone, it's Esabelle and welcome back. There's a lot in psychology of people talking about what is the ultimate key to success. I would honestly say that there's probably not just one. I know that I've heard about it around, the ability to delay gratification, which I'm going to link you some very cute videos of experiments that they've done having children delay their gratification by having them stay in a room where they're tempted by candy. It is a very cute thing to watch, but it is also extremely interesting to watch. Usually that is a huge predictor of success later in life, the ability to just not give in to your impulses. If you feel like doing something, then, you don't just act on it. You actually say, hey,
there's something bigger and better that I want for the future than how I feel right now.
That is one. I've also heard a lot of people say that EQ, emotional intelligence is what that refers to, is actually more helpful and a bigger predictor of success than IQ. No doubt that that's true based upon my studies. However, although I do not think there is one particular key that always goes into it, if I were going to try to put my money on one key that is definitely non-negotiable in success for the future, honestly, I would put my money on the growth mindset. I think that this is one of the most powerful predictors of success. Now, there's a few reasons why I think that this particular one is extremely powerful. One, you can develop any other skill using this. Now, a growth mindset is just that. It's a mindset. It cannot be taught. It cannot be enforced. It is a choice, and it is a way of approaching life. You have to cultivate it. You cannot learn it, but you can cultivate it in yourself by trying new things and keeping an open mind. And whenever you see something that you don't like, you don't just say, it's not going to work. You actually stick with it, and you see where it goes. Because I can tell you that I didn't like video editing whenever I first started, but now I love it. So you just never know if you don't stick with it.
When will I know I'm ready? You won't. It's a leap of faith.
So having that growth mindset opens up all these other doors and all these other skill sets that normally you would not have at your disposal unless, of course, you gave it a shot. You tried something. Another reason why I consider this to be extraordinarily important is because everything that you have done in your life, at one point you didn't know how to do. You did not know how to walk whenever you were a baby. You did not know how to talk. Everything that you are able to do, skill-wise, is something that you had to develop. If you learn that ability to develop new abilities, then you have the world at your feet. It's true. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because I had to finally cultivate that growth mindset in myself. I came from a household that really did not value trying new things. In fact, it was kind of discouraged, either because it was costly or inconvenient, or it seemed like too much trouble, which I guess falls under convenience. But it wasn't cultivated in me, and I limited myself whenever I was younger, because I believed that there were only a set number of things that I could do that I had already learned. And then once I started breaking out of that idea that, I'm not actually limited by what it is I already know, there is a real danger that people tend to have whenever they go through life, is that they can get so hung up on what it is that you already know how to do and what it is that you've already spent time on. There's what's called the sunk cost fallacy, where you've invested so much time in a particular skill. Could also be a relationship. It could be a major whenever you're in college. And you believe that because you've invested all this time already, that it's better to just stick with it. Well, that can be dangerous if you're not going down a path and you've invested in a path that isn't necessarily a good one for you, or a healthy one, or a healthy relationship. You can't just stick with it because you've invested before. You need to do what is actually right for your life and for you. Now, if you develop a growth mindset, if you cultivate that, then you're not limited by what you're less likely to be, at least, feeling limited to what it is that you already know how to do, what you've already invested in. Because a lot of things in life change. That is the nature of life and living, is that things change. They won't stay the same forever. You could cry about it, or you could learn adaptability and learn to grow with it. I'm thinking of a lot of athletes who invest a lot in their careers and then they get injured or they age out of it. You have to learn how to develop new skills, because if you get too hung up on what you already know, then you start to define yourself by that. And then if you no longer have the opportunity for whatever reason to continue doing what you've been doing and your identity is invested in that, that's whenever you start getting a lot of depression, you start getting a lot of feelings of worthlessness, feeling stuck, feeling trapped. But if you know how to create new skills for yourself, to learn new things, if you embrace not just a growth mindset, I'm encouraging a radical growth mindset. So if you have a radical growth mindset and you're willing to embrace and try nearly anything that is beneficial and healthy, and just trying new things in general, if you're willing to do that, then you are not limited by your circumstances. You can create your circumstances, because you can say, this is what life is giving me, and this is how I'm going to respond to it, by growing, by adapting, by learning. It is like the master key, at least it has been in my life. It has been a master key to unlocking so many other skills, so many other opportunities. And that's what I want for your life too. I want you to have nothing less than all the opportunities and all the skills that you need for living a successful, healthy life.